Exercise Blueprint builds strength, endurance, and longevity. The only bad workout is the one that didn't happen. Unknown. Exercise is king. Nutrition is queen. Put them together and you've got a kingdom. Jack LaLanne. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. In 2006, Jacinto Bonilla celebrated his 66th birthday in an unusual way by joining his first CrossFit class. 24A former Marine and lifelong fitness enthusiast, Jacinto was no stranger to physical challenges. But even he couldn't have predicted how this decision would transform his golden years. Fast forward to 2019, and Jacinto, now 78, was still going strong, regularly outperforming people half his age in grueling workouts that combined weightlifting, cardio, and functional movements. Jacinto's story caught the attention of researchers and fitness enthusiasts alike. Here was a man in his late 70s deadlifting over 300 pounds, performing muscle-ups and competing in high-intensity fitness competitions. However, what truly set Jacinto apart? Jacinto Bonilla goes hard on exercise. Wasn't just his physical prowess, it was his vitality, energy, and zest for life. While many of his peers were grappling with age-related decline, Jacinto was thriving, proving that chronological age doesn't have to dictate biological age. The science backs up Jacinto's experience. Studies have shown that resistance training, like the weightlifting Jacinto incorporates into his routine, can significantly slow down and even reverse aspects of aging. 25 It preserves muscle mass, maintains bone density, improves metabolic health, and enhances cognitive function. Jacinto's journey isn't just inspiring, it's a powerful testament to the role of exercise, particularly strength training, in extending the quantity and quality of our years. As Jacinto often says, age is just a number. What matters is how you feel and what you can do. Exercise is the single most important pro-longevity activity you can undertake. If you are over 60 years old, exercising just twice per week with weights, resistance, and doing push-pull exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, deep knee bends, etc., has the effect of reducing all-cause mortality by 50% and reducing your risk of cancer threefold. 26. Exercise Blueprint. So, what type of exercise should you strive to incorporate in your life? How often, and how much? When I think of exercise, I'm using it to accomplish two objectives. My first goal is to maintain and, if possible, increase muscle mass, and my second is to optimize my metabolic and mitochondrial health. Below, we'll dive into both of these. I'll share my exercise routines and explain why exercise is so important as a pro-longevity practice. Increasing muscle mass. Adding muscle to your frame is fundamental for health and longevity. As mentioned earlier, I achieved my goal last year of adding 10 additional pounds of skeletal muscle, not an easy feat. Now, my goal is to maintain it. Why? A number of studies have demonstrated a direct correlation between longevity and muscle mass. One study published in the American Journal of Medicine looked at data from over 10,000 people and found that those with the highest muscle mass were 30% less likely to die during the study period than those with the lowest muscle mass. 27 Other studies published in Gerontology found that people with sarcopenia, a condition characterized by low muscle mass, had a 50% increased risk of death from all causes. 28. One major benefit of increased muscle mass is its role in preventing injuries from falling. Many deaths occur when prolonged sarcopenia ultimately leads to a fall, resulting in a fractured hip or pelvis, followed by hospitalization, pneumonia, and ultimately death. Note, according to a 2019 study in Acta Orthopedica, in adults over the age of 65, the 1-year mortality rate after a hip fracture is 21% for those whose fracture is surgically repaired. 29 If the fracture is not repaired, the 1-year mortality jumps to 70%. For this reason alone, building and maintaining muscle mass is absolutely critical and is not a once-and-done activity. Building muscle. Peter does heavy weight workouts 3 or 4 times per week. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. Needs to become part of your regular routine since muscle decreases approximately 3 to 8% per decade after the age of 30, and this declines at an even higher rate after the age of 60. What I do to build muscle. Heavy weight workout. I work out at least 4 times per week using heavy weights for both my upper and lower body. Each session is roughly 40 to 50 minutes long and, when possible, guided by a trainer who pushes me harder than I can typically push myself. The only real disruption to this routine is travel. One way that I try to overcome the challenge of working out during travel is to invite others traveling with me to meet me in the gym. Making an appointment with your colleague for a 7 a.m. workout at the gym is one way to dismiss the multitude of rationalizations and excuses you can come up with lying in bed the next morning. Tonal workout. To gain and maintain muscle mass this year, I invested in an at-home all-in-one AI-enabled workout system called Tonal, which I use as an alternative to free weights. The Tonal system strives to marry the best of strength training with the innovation of smart technology. At its core, Tonal is a wall-mounted unit that harnesses electromagnetic resistance to simulate weights, allowing users to engage in a wide variety of strength training exercises without traditional bulky gym equipment. Accompanied by an interactive display, the system intelligently adapts to each individual's needs, calibrating workouts in real time and providing expert coaching through guided routines. The importance of the Tonal system lies not just in its space-saving design, but in its ability to deliver personalized, efficient, and dynamic workouts. It redefines the boundaries of traditional training by offering a tailored experience that can accelerate muscle growth, enhance strength, and revolutionize the way we understand home fitness. One final benefit of Tonal is it is likely safer than lifting free weights, reducing the risk of injuries caused by incorrect form. Creatine. Building muscle goes beyond just lifting weights, it also requires the proper diet and supplementation. Beyond consuming 150 grams of protein for my body. Exercise blueprint. Wait, I also supplement 5 grams of creatine. Research shows supplementing with creatine can double your strength and lean muscle gains when compared to training without it. 30 Creatine, a substance that naturally occurs in muscle cells, enhances muscle growth and strength in several ways, by increasing ATP production for high-intensity workouts, promoting cell signaling for muscle repair, boosting cell hydration for muscle size, stimulating protein synthesis, reducing protein breakdown, and lowering myostatin levels to increase muscle growth potential. Recently, I've tried a creatine monohydrate gummy called Create, which makes it easy to use when traveling. Otherwise, I mix a scoop of creatine powder into my protein shake. There are many brands. I'm currently using one made by Thorne. Measuring your muscle mass. Peter's recently installed Tonal system to make safe and impactful workouts happen. So, how do you know that your weight workouts are adding muscle mass other than flexing in front of the mirror? One important way is to use technology to measure your gains. The gold standard is a DEXA scan, which I get every year at Fountain Life, but a lower-cost at-home option is something like an InBody H20N Smart Weight Analyzer. The H20N works by using what's called bioelectrical impedance. This smart scale sends a very low, safe electrical current through the body, measuring resistance, impedance, as it passes through different tissues of your body. It utilizes multiple frequencies, feeding the data to its algorithms to interpret the measurements, resulting in a detailed breakdown of body composition, including muscle mass, fat mass, water content, and more. However, it's worth noting that while devices like the InBody H20N are generally accurate, factors like hydration status, recent exercise, and food intake can affect results. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. VO2 max and mitochondrial health. Having plenty of muscle is great, but what about the metabolic health of your muscle and its mitochondria, in other words, the ability of your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, to efficiently convert oxygen and glucose or fat into energy for your body? We measure that efficiency by using the VO2 max or maximal oxygen uptake. It measures the maximum amount of oxygen an individual can use during intense exercise. It's a key indicator of our longevity. A higher VO2 max generally indicates a higher aerobic and endurance capacity. VO2 max is important for several reasons, including cardiovascular health, reducing the risk of heart disease and stroke, 2. Physical fitness and mobility. 3. Chronic disease prevention, reducing the risk of diabetes, hypertension, and certain types of cancer. 4. Mental health and cognitive function, reducing the risk of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline, including conditions like Alzheimer's disease, and 5. Longevity. Several studies have found a direct correlation between VO2 max and longevity. Higher VO2 max levels in middle age have been associated with increased survival rates in older age. 31 The relationship between VO2 max and all-cause mortality is quite good, says Dr. Michael Joyner, an anesthesiologist and fitness expert at the Mayo Clinic. The odds of dying in the next 10 years are markedly low if your VO2 max is high. Because VO2 max changes with age and gender, below is a chart to help you evaluate where you stand in this important metric. Exercise blueprint. How I work on improving my mitochondria and VO2 max. 1. Steady-state cardio. I aim to get at least 3, ideally 4, days each week of moderate Zone 2 cardio exercise for 45 to 60 minutes. Zone 2 training has been shown to be the best way to improve the functioning and efficiency of your mitochondria. For me, this involves getting my heart rate to approximately 105 to 110 BPM and holding it steady through light jogging, brisk walking, cycling, or tennis. My go-to is a stationary bicycle, where I can take my board and team Zoom calls that otherwise would have me sitting around. Here's how you calculate your Zone 2 heart rate. First, calculate your max HR, which is equal to 220 minus your age. For me, it's 220 to 63 equals 157. Second, calculate the lower limit of Zone 2, which is equal to your max HR x 60%. For me, 94 BPM. Third, calculate the upper limit of Zone 2, which is equal to max HR x 70%. For me, 110 BPM. You can also do a lactate threshold test that will determine your exact Zone 2 heart rate, which I do at Fountain Life during my annual upload. This involves getting on a stationary bike, pedaling at increasing speeds, and having a med tech sample your blood lactate levels from a finger prick at regular intervals. I plan to test this every year to track my performance improvements. 2. Interval training cardio. Beyond Zone 2, during my board Peter using a Technogym stationary bike for Zone 2 cardio and HIIT workouts. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. And staff meetings, I endeavor to focus on high-intensity interval training, HIIT, at least 3 days per week using my Technogym stationary bike. I warm up for 5 minutes, then alternate between 1 minute of high-intensity exercise, such as sprinting or fast cycling, and 1 minute of super low-effort recovery. Currently, my goal is to get my bike to 175 to 200 watts of output and a heart rate of 140 to 145 BPM for 1 minute, followed by a very slow 25 watts of output where I'm barely pedaling, during which my heart rate can recover. I repeat this cycle for 15 minutes. This one kicks my butt. Luckily, the Technogym bike has an easy HR and power watts readout, making this manageable. Sitting is the new smoking. Most of us take our Zoom calls sitting on our butts, staring at our computer screens for hours at a time. We don't realize how much of our day we are physically idle. I think of sitting as the new smoking, something to be minimized. During and after COVID, I've made it a habit of taking as many of my in-person meetings as possible as walk and talk sessions, which has helped me hit my daily goal of 10,000 steps or more as measured on my Apple Watch. In addition, if my meeting is over Zoom, I can use my Lifespan walking desk or Technogym stationary bicycle to keep moving and work on Zone 2 training. Avoiding injury. As we grow older, our biggest enemy is no longer sugar or even lack of sleep, it's injury. An injury can cause a sequence of events that can unravel all the pro-longevity work you stretching is essential to avoid injury. Exercise blueprint. Done. A fall that breaks any bone or tears a ligament can result in a prolonged period of bed rest that can wipe away many months of muscle accumulation or VO2 max improvements. The antidote here is, first and foremost, building your muscle reserve, as discussed earlier. Beyond exercise, it's all about balance, flexibility, and stretching. As we get older, we tend to get stiffer and more unstable. Maintaining or gaining flexibility and working on proprioception, which is an awareness of the position and movement of your body, is critical in preventing injury. I must admit that flexibility is my Achilles heel, and I need to sign up for some yoga courses and stretching sessions. Why exercise matters so much? In a 2018 study published in The Lancet, researchers looked at the link between physical activity and mortality. 32. With data from over 1 million people, the study found that individuals who engaged in 150 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes per week, or approximately 20 minutes per day, of moderate intensity exercise per week had a 28% lower risk of death from any cause. But the data gets even more compelling. Those who engaged in 750 minutes per week, or about 1 hour and 45 minutes per day, had a mind-blowing 42% lower risk of death compared to those who never exercised. There is no known therapy or drug with this type of well-studied effect on human lifespan. Regular, frequent movement, especially outside, in fresh air, has the potential to transform your mood, maintain your heart health, protecting you from the #1 killer in the world, and significantly boost your creativity and problem-solving skills. That's because when you exercise, your muscles release myokines into your bloodstream. These myokines go to your brain, regulating physiological and metabolic responses and affecting cognition, mood, and emotions. They also aid in the formation of new neurons and increase brain plasticity. Another recent study found that participants who walked over 4,000 steps a day had healthier brain tissue, better memory, and superior cognitive function compared to those who walked fewer than 4,000 steps per day. 33. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. So, if you don't yet exercise regularly, start somewhere. Ideally, you'll strive to get 7,000 steps a day plus weight training 3 times per week. As you can see, just 4,000 steps a day can be the difference between life and death, between a healthy brain and Alzheimer's, or a number of other debilitating diseases. Benchmarking your progress. A target to shoot for. In 2022, a friend, Regan Archibald, collaborated with my coach, Dan Sullivan, founder of Strategic Coach, to create your Fitness 50 benchmark as a simple means of self-assessment, goal setting, and tracking progress. Living to 100 isn't the problem most of us will face. The problem is the condition in which we arrive. Imagine having the fitness levels of the healthiest 50-year-olds at the age of 100. Your future self will appreciate the time you spent taking care of your health today, and the Fitness 50 benchmarks are a simplified way to measure that investment. Each of the Fitness 50 benchmarks can be viewed as a diagnostic predictor of the diseases caused by aging and is an early indicator for all-cause mortality. The Fitness 50 benchmarks are the easiest way to measure your progress toward your life extension goals: no blood draws, stool tests, or DNA swabs. The 3 levels are fit, fitter, and fittest. I see them as motivation to make improvements regardless of my age or current fitness level. I like to work on each of the 11 benchmarks over the course of a week, but you could choose to perform some of the benchmarks in groups or test them as a single activity. The purpose is to have a baseline fitness threshold that you can enjoy when you reach 100. Exercise blueprint. Below are my June 2023 and June 2024 numbers and a simple chart I will use to follow my progress over the years ahead. Consider creating some benchmarks for yourself and gamifying your exercise program. Dan Sullivan and Regan Archibald Lifetime Extender Collaboration. Copyright symbol East West Health 2022. Peters Fitness 50 Benchmark Numbers. Reference Peters. Fittest June 23, June 24, June 25. Push-ups, 50 seconds 40 90 94. Plank hold, 3 minutes 3 minutes 3 minutes. Grip tests, dead hang 90 sector 135 sector 130 seconds. Squats, 50 seconds 50 50 50. Wall squat hold, 90 sector 180 sector 200 seconds lunges, 50 seconds 50-40 145. Sit to stand, 50 seconds 10 13 15. Sit to rise, no hands 0 0 0. Single leg balance, 50 seconds. 50 seconds greater than 120 seconds greater than 120 seconds 1 a mile walk run elliptical 8 minutes 10 minutes 10 minutes 25 burpees 2 minutes 1.5 minutes 1.5 minutes. Peter Diamandis, Longevity Guidebook. An explanation of each category. The following is an explanation of the fitness 50 categories. Push-ups. Being able to perform 40 push-ups, modifications are fine, can reduce stroke and heart disease by 96%, increase strength, and improve growth hormone. 34. Plank hold, improves posture, strengthens the core, and increases flexibility and endurance. Planks increase basal metabolic rate, decrease fat percentage, and have been shown to improve immunocyte counts. 35. Grip strength. An increase in strength reduces blood pressure and risk of stroke, improves testosterone and growth hormone, and signals muscle readiness for the entire body through the brain. 36. It can be a stand-in measurement for full body strength and muscle mass. Squats enhances lower body stability and strength while reducing resting blood pressure and improving lumbar stability. 37. Lunges benefits the posterior muscles, hamstrings, glutes, and lower back better than other movements. Corrects instability and improves balance. 38. Sit to stand improves core strength, endurance, and balance and is a predictor of mortality. 39. Sit to rise, musculoskeletal fitness predictor for longevity, balance, and coordination. 40. Single leg balance decreases the chances of strokes and improves cerebral circulation and vascular health. 41. Promotes flexibility and prevents cognitive decline while warding off premature mortality. 1 mile run elliptical rowing swimming improves cardiovascular function, decreases chances of stroke, and improves endurance and strength. Increases cognitive function and fitness. 42. Rowing, swimming, and the elliptical are just examples of alternatives to running. Feel free to test yourself on any endurance-related activity for 8 to 12 minutes to see how you fare. Burpees increase blood flow, lower blood pressure, and improve strength, coordination, and endurance. They also stimulate fat burning and metabolism and lower the risk of all-cause mortality. 43.